This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with Fanvil. Friend Tommy Lee, he is their Vice President of Sales here in North America. He'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit the question box so that Tommy will be able to answer them at the end of today's presentation. Tommy, thank you so much for being with us today. We're looking forward to the next installment of what you're going to let us know what's going on with Fanvil. And you are up next, sir.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate the great introduction. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody, depending on what region you're in. I guess this is sort of the first presentation we're doing for 2026. And for many of you who have followed the Microcom webinars for a while, I've always mentioned in many of our slides that Fanvil does have like a wireless set that we're going to concentrate on, and I'm going to probably start off 2026 with one of our sub brands, which is called Linkvil. Of course, that's not going to, Fanvil will always have Linkvil, but Linkvil sort of concentrates on a lot of our wireless as far and hybrid technologies, because one of the common threads that Fanvil does is that practically all of our products are SIP based, and that really is a standard of which everybody upgrades their UC platform, both audio and video, onto SIP from the old analog system. And for those products that tend to sort of work on the sidelines that are less dependent on SIP, we tend to put them in the Linkvil slide. And very often with that case, we want to introduce you to wireless headsets, which is something that we're coming out in 2026. And I want to show you some of the lines that we're coming out with, but it will come in our sub-brand Linkvil, because the great news about our headsets is that these things are very, what I would call user-friendly. As everybody who works in the office building these days, as well as working remotely, there are huge options. Many people look at Fanvil as a solution provider for desk phones, access control, intercoms, and things like that. But we also recognize that the world has changed quite a bit. And in order to become an umbrella provider, which is something that Fanvil wants to do, we want to be able to offer our partners a full umbrella so that they can cover all of their application needs and project needs on the one thing, so that Fanvil does have very, very competitive as well as advantage options that they can provide to their solution, their end customers, that give them a lot of options in terms of how they want to connect to the UC space. What I'm going to talk about in this session is really our DECT and Bluetooth headsets, and I want to show you the entire line. Many of the items that I'm showing to you are already available in production. Some of the ones that are coming through are in sample stages now, and one of the things I encourage our partners to do is to reach out to Microcom and ask them to say, hey, do you have an evaluation sample? We understand that we want to go ahead and take a listen to one of these things, and I think you're going to find it very compelling. Future down the line, we're going to also look at video conferencing and all-in-one solutions like that. We have some very, very compelling factors that I'm going to reserve for a future webinar, because I think that headsets really apply to nearly everybody that's listening in. I know many people like to use the classic, if they're an Apple fan, they typically use iPods to listen into their ears, or they use anything else. But this is one option that I think really fits in the business world very, very well. One of the things that we recognize that's quite a bit of a differentiator for our Bluetooth headset is that we see that on the Bluetooth headset, you have an open office environment. And what that typically means that even when you're in the office, there are typically cubes that are sitting right next to you, that's shared environment. It's all we call background noise. Very often, if you're working at home, you might hear a dog or a cat meowing or barking in the background. We actually have intelligence inside these headsets that'll focus in on just your voice and trying to blank out those type of noises in the background. And typically on the other side of the headset, on your end customers, they're typically in a listening environment where they could be in a conference room or a one-on-one desk, but we don't control what they listen to, but at least for those who have control, we can at least make your environment much more noiseless as far as they're concerned, so that they don't have to understand the noise that are in your particular background. Some of the background between our DECT and Bluetooth technologies, obviously all of these headsets are very much compatible, not only with our desk phones, as well as many laptop PCs and desktops, but also many of the competitive environments as well. We note that many people have many different brands on their desk, and these headsets were really designed to go ahead and fit the entire marketplace. And to do that, we want to show the type of different DECT technologies, Bluetooth technologies, and also some of the AI-enabled noise control things, so that what it does is really focus in on your speech, and it really does cancel out many of the background noises. Nobody wants to hear, background noises, which could be very, disruptive in any particular meeting. Some of the go ahead and listen to a lot of how these things are broken out. Obviously, we're putting together the most cost-effective and high-performance speakers as well. We have these dual chipsets that really make this thing very compatible, but at the same time, all the pieces that we put in has to add some level of value, where we have single as well as double edge solutions, ear set solutions, where we go ahead and use it to not only be comfortable, but to also isolate whatever noise that you may be subjected to. But the key thing here is comfort, and I'm going to go ahead and show that moving forward. Obviously, one of the big key sets is this clear voice pickup and the cancellation mode. Obviously, we have buttons as well as active indicators, so that people around you know when you're automatically on a conversation. And there's lots of things that we do which has a pivoting arm set, so that if you're not necessarily on a call or want to mute yourself, you could just flip this arm set up so that everything that surrounds you is muted. But if you want to go ahead and say something, you just flip it down and you can go ahead and talk. If you need to pick up a call, you could just go ahead and press buttons with active indicators. I mean, we thought quite a bit in order for you to go ahead and do this. And obviously, this is a solution that Fanvil and Linkville is going to come out to the market with, and hopefully you could find this as a very compelling solution. We're going to provide really 3 or 3+ type of solutions. We have the base model, which is the DH301D. What this means that this thing actually supports both DECT headset as well as a Bluetooth headset as well. This one dongle, even though you see that it's a USB-A headset, one of the things that's hidden is that you can actually pull this dongle apart, and you can also see a USB-C. So that what you end up with is really an adaptive way to be able to either hook it into your PC, your laptop, or you can plug this into a desktop phone, whether it's ours or any other brands, and have this real base headset compatible. What makes this base headset compatible? Because what this unit is that this is just a charging unit that enables all of these headsets just to go ahead and charge. Now, other people may have a higher requirement. This is sort of my favorite, because the D301D Pro enables you to also have a speakerphone here as well, because you may not always want to rush off. Not everybody walks around the office or at home with their headsets on, or you could have your headset charging. By that means, you can go ahead and answer calls and actually have a base unit that you can pick up a call and while still have the headset charging, and you can have a call on the speakerphone if you wanted to. But if you want to have a more private conversation, you could obviously go ahead and lift up the headset and have that private conversation so that only you can go ahead and listen. And then ultimately down the line, we're going to have an ultra headset where all of a sudden it begins to make this headset kind of a hybridized technology, where some people may go ahead and prefer to pick up a call via a handset, but also have some level of display. And this is kind of a hybrid model where, hey, if you like using a desk phone for some reason and using a headset, this kind of gives you a hybrid model between the two. And obviously, both of these solutions kind of give you the most flexibility in being able to provide the environment that you're most comfortable with in all 3 environments. Okay? Having stated that, We just wanted to kind of show you the base, which is really the one headset that we're going to go ahead and provide. This is sort of our main unit. I'm not going to go over all of these specific details on you. They are here for your reference. I'll go ahead and send the PDF copy of this presentation to Julie. If you're interested in getting more information, feel free to reach out to Julie, or what you can do is just go over to the fanvil.com, website and be able to reach out, and you'll be able to go ahead and get all of this information. But the great news is that both frequency range sensitivity, many people who are into audio know that the audio range goes anywhere from 20 to 20,000 hertz. That is great when you look about frequency coverage, but most of the time when people talk, it really focuses in on that mid-range. But we don't need to get all technical about that, but the idea here is that everything here is to really focus in on that mid-range, whoever's closest to the speaker, and kind of filter everything out in the background so that people don't necessarily have to listen. And the great thing is that you'll end up with really a full duplex wireless handset that is going to be extremely competitive in the marketplace, and as well as give you a sound experience and noise reduction that's going to be unsurpassed by our competition. Obviously, we use DECT because DECT provides a good level of distance as well. But in addition to DECT, we're going to also provide different levels of handsets, which I'm going to talk about moving forward in the future. You might state, oh, we have 3 different bases. Well, we realize that these base stations have different ways of connecting. As I showed you with the DB10, this base station is really meant nothing more but charging, so that it really is going to go ahead and not give you any input. But most of the interface is done by a dongle with both a USB-A and a USB-C connector, giving you the ability to go ahead and connect this headset to whatever platform you may want to do. Now, so all of these things are really made for one item. Now, if you want to do the speaker, you're going to also have the ability to look at where the speaker set comes in and what type of interface that it provides you, and it gives you its speaker capabilities. As well as the DB36, it gives you its spec capabilities as well. It gives you some screen as well as handset capabilities, if that's the flexibility that you want. Everybody's always interested in understanding what types of ports are available in the background. These don't necessarily require an EFT adapter by any means, so it's very, very simple to use. Obviously, on this port, you have just a basic USB connector that comes along with the charger. But once you move into the speakerphone, things become a little more adaptable here, where you can go ahead and actually have an RJ9 connector that can hook directly to your phone or what have you, or you can have USB adapters and the USB A and B adapters. Same with the extra set as well, all for the same type of interface, so that you know what's on the back of these sets. And we actually show you a picture here and gives you the control module where you can go ahead and lift up and adjust volumes and have a speakerphone available if you need to go ahead and talk to. Now I want to talk about something else which is very popular as well, a Bluetooth headset. We're going to provide basically an over-ear option, of which we're going to go ahead and promote with our Linkville. Again, one of the obvious things about Fanvil is that everything that we do is under the SIP environment. And since this is more focused on DECT and Bluetooth environment, we're going to label this as a wireless Linkville solution. And the great news is the comfort of these headsets. This really only is like 13.6 grams, which is extremely light. And we've made this in such a way that's unique because it doesn't necessarily have an in-ear pod. Because if you wear those old pods that typically stick into your ear, and after a while, 5, 10, 15, whatever minutes, people have different tolerances, this one will fit really close to your ear and provide the nice, you could basically hear everything that you need to hear, but then yet nothing is protruding. So the idea here is really long-term comfort so that you can hear all you need to hear, because a lot of people, it's very subjective, like to hear that one Bluetooth thing. Now, the difference between this one versus the DECT, obviously Bluetooth has much shorter range, but good enough range to give you the flexibility to move around the office, but not necessarily change floors or what have you. But this gives you the classic Bluetooth performance and have comfort around your ears, so that this way you can go ahead and conduct either using a Bluetooth headset with the DH version, or you could have an over-the-ear in terms of Bluetooth. So we have really two different versions of Bluetooth, as well as several different versions of DECT, depending on how you want to go ahead and connect to the world. So when you look at all of our solutions together, this is really our entire family that we offer here. This is something that we have that provides both a DECT, and you could tell the difference between the last digit, which it tends to lend in a D or a B. So depending on the model number, hopefully this will give you an idea on the type of things. Now we have a 301, which is all single ear. If you're interested in dual ear, that's something that may be coming out later on in the year. But actually, looking at market forecast, most of the people out there prefer a single ear because they do like to listen to some of the external noise and not necessarily have that. But that's what we wanted to cater the market to. So having stated that, that's kind of an overview of our headset solution. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the wand back to Julie to finish off. And I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much, Tommy, for that wonderful presentation. And yes, our audience has some questions for you. If you're ready, we can get started.
Sure, just fire away. I can't answer it. What I'll do, Julie, is ask you to take the person's name if possible, and we can always follow up afterwards to make sure that they get the answer they need.
Of course, no problem, no problem. Here we go with the first one, Tommy.
Yep.
Are there any products that were created based directly on partner feedback?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, most of our products, very often, for those who've been Fanvil fans for a long time, when you go ahead and give us an email, send me an email, I forward a lot of those suggestions over to product management. And what they tend to do is to really understand what the real true requirements are. You know, everybody has their requirements, and some of those have a list of what haves. You know, wouldn't it be nice if, so that we kind of compile those things, and not only compile them just for headsets, but almost every product that we do. You know, one person, I'll give you an example, in our access control prefers a sort of like a passive access control requirement. And so that, because everybody tends to lose their badges, you know, but nobody forgets their phones. And somebody gave a requirement saying, hey, can I use our passive badge that's on our phone to really provide as an ID? You know, hey, that's a great idea. And in the future, even some of our ones that we send today, you could actually use your mobile phone as a pass to kind of get in, that provides that level of identification. So you don't have to bring an additional ID card with you, whether it's a card, you know, or whatever key code or key cap, you know, type of key fobs. No more. You know, everybody's going to carry a mobile phone, and we recognize that. And so we've kind of put those type of authentication devices into our units moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tommy. Next question here for you. Are there any upcoming accessories designed specifically for your new phones?
Yes, we do. In fact, one accessory for those who are Fanvil fans, for many years, we have always designed that have an integrated sidecar. And what that meant was, we thought the value add for that was having everything on one single configuration file and saving space as well as saving cost. But one of the things that we've done to add to our desk phones is not only add wireless headsets that I'm showing you today, but we've also added an expansion module called the EM60. And that's in production today. You know, that EM60, you can actually stack 4 of those EM60s along with our new V66, whether it's the V66 Pro or the V66 high-end desktop. Fanvil is now providing to the marketplace an expansion module. I mean, it's nothing new. We thought we were kind of unique, but it seems like the marketplace still likes the expansion type of capabilities. And that's a perfect case, quite frankly, where we listened to customers, and we got enough inquiries to say, you know what, you know, we're not going to, we're not going to go swim against the current that long. And we just say, okay, if that's what you want, then we've gone ahead and put together an EM60 expansion module. It's our first, and I've been with Fanvil for many years, and this is our first expansion module. It's nothing new, but it does give us an alignment with what customers are seeking and how they want to go ahead and expand.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Tommy. Next question here. How do your wireless headsets integrate with your IP phones and UC platforms?
Pretty simply, even with a lot of these sets here, I know that even in the base model, we have the ability to go ahead and hook that DECT adapter onto your laptop, basically providing a UC adaptation, or you can use that to hook into your desk phone, whether it's ours or any other brand, catering to the entire UC platform, and not only just ours. In addition to that, we also provide Bluetooth capabilities as well. And obviously with Bluetooth, you can pair it just like you would pair an AirPod or anybody else, because then you just go ahead and it'll work with your mobile phone. It'll work with a lot of different technologies to provide a full integrated solution, so that depending on which device is calling you, you could go ahead and answer all of those different platforms on the one endpoint or one solution that we bring to the marketplace.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that as well. Next question here, Tommy. Are there any upcoming improvements planned specifically for headset comfort or battery life?
Yes. Well, I think we've already had comfort as part of the main directives in our initial design. One of the things that we noted is even with the over-the-ear type of comfort, is that we've gone ahead and really did a non-intrusive. Most of the people, including AirPods, have an intrusive where something sticks in your ear set, and that's great. You can have that in there, but usually when you have it in there for over 30, 45 minutes, people can tolerate it all day, but there are lots of people out there that says, I got to take these things off. They're almost intrusive. This, on the other hand, just fits over the ear, so that this fits comfortably right over your ear canal and gives you all of the audio that you need that involves noise cancellation. So it really is a comfort. And as well, all of the cushions that we have shown in the single item is made to fit for long-term comfort care. So that's what we go ahead and bring to the marketplace, and as a part of our requirement, because if a headset is uncomfortable, nobody's going to want to wear it.
Thank you, Tommy. Got a couple more questions here. Are there any new product categories that you're planning to enter soon?
Yes. In fact, there are many things. One of the things I wanted to say to you here in one of our earlier slides is video conferencing all-in-one solutions. You're going to begin hearing from us in 2026 many different things. We're going to end up having what we call a transponder system, which is part of a hybrid, because we also realize that many people talk internationally. Very often we can talk English, as we are doing today, but very often some people can talk to international locations where the other person may be in the same room, and it's going to be a conference device that's going to provide real-time language interpretation on both ends of the conference phone, so that this will really provide real-time interpretation, so that you can go ahead and actually listen in English and have the language interpreted real-time, so that when you speak English, the other person will hear it in whatever particular language they speak to, and it provides a great value proposition so that they don't necessarily hear that. In addition to that, we're also going to provide some what I would call multi-gated ATA gateways, which will really help out in the networking / hospitality environment solutions. But all of these things are coming down the line, and when they actually reach in production, I'll be more than happy to reach out to you and bring those solutions to the marketplace.
Excellent. Thank you, Tommy. That sounds very, very interesting.
Yep.
Last question here for you. Are there any plans to expand Linkville and Fanvil integration even further?
Well, I mean, at this point in time, we always seek the same type of partnerships. I mean, all of these things work very closely with switch providers. Even though we are already compatible with hundreds of different cloud-based PBXs, there are also other cloud-based PBXs that hold a good market share that we're always seeking to be compatible with. And don't get me wrong, for partners that are out there that have sort of a very unique cloud-based system that perhaps are seeking for a Fanvil endpoint solution, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy, because there's a big part of our team that is made for interoperability. And the more platforms we are interoperable with, the more applicable that our solutions are to the marketplace. So yes, we're constantly seeking partnerships out there, not only just in the UC focus, but also focusing on security as well, because as you know very well, Julie, we're beginning to expand and access control, networking, broadcast systems, which really is a very different market than the UC. So we're also spreading out our applicability into how the market is expanding from a SIP application perspective.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all that information, Tommy, and for answering all those questions for us today. And also thank you to everyone for attending this webinar. And if you have any further questions, of course, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown here today, please remember that this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so we can all view it again. Meantime, we'll all be looking forward to the next Fanvil webinar with you, Tommy, to see what else you got going on. We're looking forward to it. Everybody, have a fantastic day.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you everybody for your time.
Thanks, Tommy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.